Okay, you guys, I'm coming at you hot, and I'm going to tell you some things that you might not want to hear, but that you need to face and you need to deal with because they are bad habits that are keeping you stuck, that are holding you back, and maybe even keeping you in struggle that you don't need to be having. So I'm going to talk about 5 bad habits that most of us do. Maybe you're not doing all of them, but I'm going to guarantee you're doing at least a couple of them. And we're going to call these ones out and we're going to start dealing with them right here and now. If you're new to me and this is the first time we're connecting, welcome here. I would love it if you would introduce yourself in the comments section below and make sure you subscribe before you go. My name is Kristina, and I'm a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and a digital course creator. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, and I work to help heart-centered go-getter men and women break through worry, anxiety, and self-doubt so they can get out of their heads, get into their lives, and love their lives. And like I said, we're going to talk about 5 bad habits that most of us, if not all of us, do at least sometimes that are really getting in our way. And a lot of them are about things that are going on right up in here, right in our minds. And so let's jump right into this one so that we can start dealing with them and clearing them out so that we can live more fully and freely in our lives. So the first one that a lot of us do, most of us do, hands up if you've ever done this, mind reading. How many of you are mind reading? And you might not even be aware that you're doing it, but how often are you assuming that you know what somebody else is thinking? And usually that thing that you are thinking they are thinking is not good thoughts about you, that you're thinking that other people are judging or criticizing you or sizing you up, or have something not good to say, that they're watching your every move and waiting for you to mess up or screw up or fail so that they can jump on you, criticize, judge, whatever it is. And maybe it's not even that bad. Maybe you just think that most people are just assuming that you suck or that there's something wrong with you. And it's making you feel really scared, really self-conscious, really insecure. But what about this? What about the fact that at any given time, between 80 and 90% of people are worrying about what other people are thinking about them? And so if everybody or most people are worrying about, spending all of their brain power worrying about what other people are thinking about them, then who has all this time to be doing all this judging? Who is actually doing all of this judging? And yeah, there are going to be people that are out there and judging you, but I've talked about this in other videos. It's more about them than it is about you. It's actually all about them and not about you. But another piece to this, and something that you can work on, and something you could think about, and something that you can use to shift your mindset, what would be different if you just assumed that other people were assuming good things about you? Because you're going around assuming that they're assuming bad things without knowing for sure. So what about just changing it and assuming that people are assuming good things about you? If you're going to assume, why not do the latter one? Why not change your way of thinking in this way? How would you show up differently? Like, that's the question. How would you show up differently if you just assumed that people were assuming good things about you? And the other part of this is that it's actually none of your business what somebody else is thinking about you, unless they make it your business in a kind and respectful way. If they have a problem with you, okay, first of all, it's their problem, right? Not your problem, their problem. If someone has a problem with you, it's their problem. And if they have a problem, they're allowed to have that problem with you. And if they want you to do something different, then it's up to them to address the issue, to bring it up, to talk about it in a kind and respectful way. But flinging mud from the cheap seats, not helpful. It's actually none of your business, and it does not deserve your attention. So mind reading. Stop it. You don't know unless you know. And if you know, then do something about it, deal with it, have a conversation, or just allow that other person to have their negative opinion about you. But the mind reading thing, not helpful unless you are using it to assume that people are thinking good things about you. Let me know in the comment section below, and I want to hear from you. With this shift, if you were to intentionally work on this shift and assume that people were assuming good things about you, how would you show up differently? What would you do that you're not doing now? What would change? The next one, and this is a tough one that we all do. Waiting for life to get good before we can be happy. And I'm not talking about if you're in a time of trauma or of really deep struggle with something, if you're going through something painful or traumatic at this moment. I'm not talking about this. If you're in grief, or if you're in loss, or if you are in a major transition, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the times in between when we are sitting around waiting for life to get good, or maybe we're doing things in the hopes that what we're going to do is going to make life good. That, when I look a certain way, when I have a certain amount of success, when I have a certain amount of friends, when I have the perfect job, when I have the perfect perm or whatever it is, when I have the perfect partner, then I'm going to be happy. It's the plight of the when then. When I have or look like or have accomplished or have done this, then I will allow myself to be happy. Then I will allow myself to feel good. But I'm here to tell you that people with good jobs, people with partners, people with hordes of friends, people with great hair still have problems. That this stuff doesn't solve it. That happiness is not a destination. It's a decision. And looking at a different way, if you can't be here now, if you can't find the joy, and I'm not saying that it means that everything has to be sunshine and roses and positive and happy, but if you can't find the joy, if you can't find the place to be grateful and content where you are now, while also still wanting to learn and grow and expand, those things can exist at the same time. But if you can't be here now, you won't be able to be here when you get there. Because if you think about it, you have already accomplished a lot of the things that you thought you needed to accomplish in order to be happy and feel good. And you're not. And that's because it's not a destination. Like, you think about it. You think about the things in your life that you were like, when I get there, when I do that, when I have that, when I look like that, when I've accomplished that, when I've acquired that, then I will be happy and feel good. You've gotten a lot of those things. You've accomplished a lot of those goals, and you're not happy. So it's not about the destination. Doesn't mean that we're not still learning and growing and expanding as a natural expression of being a human being. We are wired for growth. We are wired to learn. We are wired to expand. If you're just like sitting around, if you're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm not going to ever learn, I'm not going to ever grow, I'm not going to ever do anything, I'm not going to use my mind, I'm not going to, I'm not going to use what the good Lord gave me. I'm just going to sit around and watch Netflix and eat ding dongs, and I'm just going to check out. I'm going to stop trying. No, that's not what we're talking about here. But what we are talking about is being present in the process, being grateful in the journey, and stop waiting to get somewhere, because there is nowhere to get to that's going to fulfill that need. It's not a destination. It's a decision. The next bad habit that is keeping you stuck is expecting other people to offer you things that they are not offering. Hands up if you've ever done this, if you've ever sat around and complained about the same person not doing what you want them to do more than one time. If you've ever noticed yourself just sitting around and complaining about what somebody else is doing that's not meeting your expectation, that's not meeting your needs, they're not doing what you want, when you want, or how they want. But have you ever stopped to reflect on, or maybe even ask them if they are offering to meet that need, to fulfill that expectation? You might be expecting them to be something or do something or act in a way that they are not interested in acting or doing or offering. They just might not be offering that. And so sitting around and basing our happiness and telling ourselves that I will do this, or I would be happy, or I would be able to be like this, or be able to have this if this person would be this way. I mean, that's putting all of your happiness, that's putting all of your goals and dreams in life, that's putting your well-being onto somebody else who just might not be offering that. And so, first of all, not expecting that someone knows what you want, need, think, or feel. If you need something, to ask them. It's not rocket science. It's funny how we do this. I mean, I used to do this all the time. I used to be with my husband. Like, if he loved me, he would know what I needed, right? How often have you said that? If this person loved me, they would know what you needed. And in all honesty, that probably comes from those of you who are empathic people, who are people who can pick up on people's energy and their needs, and often try to like meet their needs, and do have a bit of a superpower to be able to do that without them saying anything, without them having to ask, and assuming that other people are like that. And remember what we talked about with assuming? Not assuming that other people are the same as you. Not everybody else has that superpower. And so to be able to sit back and say, well, if they loved me, they would know what I need. I say that's irresponsible and that's not helpful, because obviously they don't. And if you love them, you will tell them what you need. You will ask them for what you need. And also respect that their job in life might not be to meet all of your needs. That you might need to have a conversation or a negotiation. You might need to give. You might need to let go. You might need to change the way that you're thinking about this one. And stop expecting other people to meet your expectations and meet all of your needs. Yes, of course, we need to have some expectations. You can't have a relationship with zero expectations. That's not a relationship. But really checking those expectations and checking how much we're relying on other people or putting the onus on other people to make us happy, which, spoiler alert, they can't. Nobody else can actually make you happy, and it's not their responsibility to do that. Whole other topic for a whole other day. We'll get into that another time. The next one, the next bad habit that's keeping you stuck is thinking that life is supposed to be easy. And I don't know how many times I see comments from people saying like, oh, Julia, but that's so hard, but life is so hard, but everything is so hard, and it's hard, hard, hard. And yeah, it's hard for everyone. I'm going to guarantee you that every single person watching this video right now has been through something or is going through something that could bring the rest of us to our knees. That everybody has gone through tough things. And I'm not saying that you don't acknowledge and honor the stuff that you've been through, the stuff that you are going through. And yeah, actually, in all fairness, you can call it in. Like, there are a lot of you who are watching this have been through such horrible things in your life that you have every reason and every excuse to give up and just call it in and be like, I'm not trying. My life has been too hard and too many things have happened to me. I am just not going to try. And I'm going to bet you that a lot of us would be able to understand and say, you know what? Fair enough. You have been through a lot. It has been hard. But is that what you want? You have every reason, a lot of you have every reason to call it in, to not try, to feel like things are too hard. And you're allowed to do that. But is that what you want for your life? Is that what you want, is to just give up? And if not, then accepting that life is hard, that we get up anyways, not because we have to, but because we want to keep going, because we want to grow, because we want to heal, because we want to live. We get to do this once. Let's do the best that we can while we're here, even if we have every reason to not. The last one. This was probably the hardest truth that I had to face a little while ago. But it's one of the most devastating but most liberating pieces of advice that I've ever heard, ever taken in. And I want you to sit with this one for a second, because it'll change your life if you really grab onto it. And that is that no one is coming. No one is coming to fix you. No one is coming to change you. You don't need to be changed, but that's a whole other video for a whole other day. No one is coming to do it for you, because nobody else is as invested in or impacted by your life, by your choices, by your happiness, by your decisions, by what you do with your life. Nobody else is going to be as impacted by what you do with your life as you. And so that is your responsibility to take responsibility for that, because no one is coming. It's nobody else's job to do it for you, because they have their own stuff to deal with. They have their own lives to live. It doesn't mean that there's not people there to walk with us on our journey, to support us and to help us, but they're not supposed to do it for us. And how many of you have ever sat there waiting for something to happen or someone to come and save you and do it and figure it out for you? And I'm here as the messenger to tell you that no one is coming to do it. And that's a good thing. That means you don't have to wait. It doesn't mean you have to sit idly by and let your life pass you by waiting. That you get to get up and get out and go for the things that you want. Go for and get the life that you want. No one is coming. Let me know if in the comment section below if you find that kind of devastating, or if you find it totally inspiring and liberating. And maybe, like me, you found it to be a little bit of both. It's a tough one. Dealing with this stuff, getting through these habits that keep us stuck, breaking through these beliefs and these ideas. These are just a few of them. I have a whole lot more to teach you, to dive into, to break through and overcome in my breakthrough coaching program, where we're going to break through worry, anxiety, and self-doubt so we can get out of our heads, get into our lives, and love our lives more. Get past all this stuff in here that is keeping us stuck. I'm going to teach you the tools and the strategies in this group coaching program. It's intense. It's for serious people only who are ready for better, ready for different, ready for a different, ready to feel differently in life. Ready, maybe even ready for an entirely different life. Not changing everything in your life, but changing how you're showing up in your life. And that's going to change your life. Make sure you get on the wait list for that. I'm going to put the link below. Share this video out. I would love more people to hear these things, to help them get unstuck. If you have people in your life who you want to help get unstuck, give them this video. Share this out with them. Like the video if you like it. Connect with me in the comment section below. Like I said before, subscribe to the channel. And it is always so good to have you here. Until next time, take good care.